Canadian farm groups are joining in the concerns of health-conscious Canadians to sound the alarm over a private member's bill that's quietly advancing through the Senate with potentially broad legal implications. It's called Bill C-293, and it's introduced first by Liberal MP Nate Erskine-Smith in 2022. He's known for his vegan advocacy, and the bill has passed its third reading under the Liberal NDP Fringe Minority Coalition government and is now headed to the Senate to receive royal assent to become legislated law in Canada. The Senate is the last stop for this bill. It's Canadians' only hope to stop this thing in its tracks, and I need your help to do so. killtheveganbill.com. At that website, you can sign our petition, and you can also send a form email to various senators and Nate Erskine-Smith himself, telling them to kill the vegan bill. This legislation, named the Pandemic Prevention and Preparedness Act, while it was introduced by a vegan whose previous attempts to force others into alternative protein consumption have not been fruitful, is broader in scope than just targeting meat producers and pushing alternative proteins like Z-bugs down Canadians' throats. This bill will grant the federal health minister power to pick a national pandemic prevention and preparedness coordinator from among the officials of the Public Health Agency of Canada, whose job it will be to coordinate activities under the Pandemic Prevention and Preparedness Plan that emphasizes alternative proteins while placing blame for antimicrobial resistance squarely on the animal agriculture's industry's shoulders. The language is ambiguous, and various organizations like the Canadian Cattle Association, the Canadian Federation of Agriculture, the Canadian Pork Council, Chicken Farmers of Canada, and the National Cattle Feeders Association have raised significant concerns about this bill. The Public Health Agency of Canada already has surveillance systems in place to monitor and respond to foodborne bacteria from farm to table. The bill's language regulating commercial activities that can contribute to pandemic risk, including industrial animal agriculture, while promoting commercial activities that can help reduce pandemic risk, including the production of alternative proteins, and phasing out commercial activities that disproportionately contribute to pandemic risk, including activities involving high-risk species, is simply more government overreach under the guise of health promotion. Nate Erskine-Smith is a lifelong vegetarian turned vegan who doesn't want you to think he's a radical anti-meat activist, as coined in this now scrubbed Now Magazine article from 2017. He wrote that op-ed after his activist C-246 bill, which he lauded as an animal protection bill, and it was defeated ultimately in the House of Commons. This article starts off by saying that Nate has been a vegetarian all of his life, which he inherited from his mother, and he thinks that not eating meat will protect the environment and somehow improve health outcomes. I would argue the opposite. That's why he went full-fledged vegan and is raising his family that way too. Perhaps his dietary choices and likely deficiencies in essential nutrients and vitamins are why he became so unhinged in the House of Commons earlier this week. Look at this.
Point is, I thought Mr. Erskine-Smith had more integrity than that, than to worried about $400
Point of order.
million
Like, what is this
stolen
absolute
from
shit?
taxpayers.
This is absolute
Whoa,
Come on.
Okay,
Come on,
all right.
Come on. My integrity?
Let's,
you can
okay,
right off.
okay, all right.
Tell this anti-meat activist vegan to kill the vegan bill and stop further government overreach into the animal agriculture sector through this ambiguously worded piece of legislation that will have sweeping effects on the health and well-being of all Canadians at killtheveganbill.com. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. Send an email to Nate Erskine-Smith and senators to kill the vegan bill at killtheveganbill.com. There you can sign our petition and support our work. That's killtheveganbill.com.